Welcome to Compass and Claw. I'm redoing the video because the last video was scripted and I just hate scripted. And we've got 0 people following the journey of Compass and Claw. So apparently it's not working. So I'm going to do this video off the script, which means it's probably going to be long because those of you who know me know I talk a lot. So let's go over what Compass and Claw is. I am turning 50, and even at 50, I'm learning a lot about myself. And I'm a person who's constantly in a place of self-discovery and self-improvement. I'm always trying to get better. I'm trying to research my emotions. Well, not trying. I'm diligent towards getting better. And what I realized is a lot of the problems that I have, even at 50 years old, stem from childhood. And my childhood, obviously, from the age of 4 to 18, was growing up in state's custody. So bouncing around from state home to state home and failed adoptions. And what I'd like to do is, when I'm reading my kid bedtime stories, it's one of my favorite things. It's fun. We make it fun. We use voices. And it takes me back to when I was a kid and nobody read me bedtime stories, right? And I'm not saying it. I want to make it very clear in this video. I'm not going to bash DCFS or state facilities or anything. None of that is my intention. I feel like they're given a big problem of society, right? This byproduct of society. And they're just doing the best they can with what they have, right? The problem with addiction and with people being mental health issues and other things like that, a byproduct of that is going to be kids going into orphanages and going into the system. And so I feel like the system does the best they can with what they have. And I don't want to get involved in any of the politics or anything like that. What I would like to address is there something I can put in the hands of the children that are in those situations so maybe they can get an earlier jump on life than I did. I didn't really start life till I was 30. And most of that time, I just tried to figure out, getting an education, and learning how to navigate myself, and then dealing with all of the undealt with trauma that I had of growing up and growing up the way that I did. And so that's what I'm trying to address. I'm trying to address, hey, is there something that I could put in the hands of these children and get them information that they're not going to get from anybody else? Enter Compass and Claw. And that's why we're doing what we're doing. So the first book that I'm writing is Alone, and it deals with Kai. And Kai is a young wolf cub who just got orphaned. And Kai is going to learn from a series of other animals how to deal with some of those emotions and how to pick up some new skills. And like I said, these are skills that it took me a very long time to learn. And so I'm wondering if there's a way we can get it in the hands of children. So originally the book was going to be a short children's book. It's definitely manifested into something much bigger than that. And it's going to be more of a preteen book with a workbook. So it's going to have an accompanying workbook. So at the end of each chapter, they can go in and kind of analyze what they've learned and then apply it to their life. And I think, like my wife was saying something about, what if you did like challenge coins? And that might be cool too, is like each step of the way they'll get, challenge coins or whatever. So anyway, that's the first book. It's called Alone. It's about Kai, a young wolf pup. He's going to meet a lion named Oz, and Oz is going to teach him his first lesson. He's going to give him, if you got, and nobody's really following, but if you were following, it would be Baku's Key is what we're going to use, is what we're going to, and so we're making, is what we're going to call his first lesson, Baku's Key. So, and right now I'm just using AI generated images to kind of illustrate what's happening in the storyline. And then of course, when we can afford to pay a painter or an illustrator, we'll have them come in and do the work. But as of right now, I got to work on a real limited budget, which is essentially my what I have left after paying all my bills, which really isn't a whole lot. But anyway, so right now we're using AI images, and then so Oz is going to be the first character. Then you're going to meet, I believe it goes from Oz to Ren, and Ren is a fox. She's an older fox. She's a very wise fox that has gone through a lot in her life, and she's going to teach Kai about adaptability. And then we have a bear, which is going to come in and teach Kai about self-love. And then an owl at the end is going to tie in the whole story. So we're looking for support. That's what this video is for. That's what it's about. When people are clicking on it, I wonder if they just see the GoFundMe and then they're just like, I'm out of here. That's fine. If you can't do anything with that, I don't care. But what really helps, what really could help, is sharing it. Share the story, put it out there, share it to other people, let them know what we're doing here, because maybe there's ways that other people can help out, and I can use all the help I can get. You know, I work a job that demands a lot of my time, and then of course I have a family that is going to demand my time, and I need to be able to have time to do all the things, and then of course still writing the book. And the book is more like fun. It's more like, you know, getting in and doing something, and it's been deeply emotional. I've found myself in tears several times in this process, and I think it's helping to do that inner child work. So in summation, this is what we're doing. I'm writing a book. That book is for preteens. And then later, hopefully we can knock it down to smaller audiences by making just videos on YouTube. So making it really easy to consume for a smaller person, a younger person, in just a quick YouTube video, because nobody's going to read to them, right? So anyway, but that's what we're doing. It's going to be a book. It's going to be for preteens. It's going to have an accompanying workbook, and I need help putting it together. So whatever you can do to help, if you can throw something in GoFundMe to help pay the illustrators and a child psychologist, because I want another take on all this and see if there's anything I'm missing. And then of course to publish copies, start the publishing company, get the LLC, the business stuff, all of that. So if you can help with that, great, do that. If you can't, you can really help by sharing this story, by liking it, by commenting. This video right here is going to go on YouTube. I'm going to make shorts out of it. So anything you can do to help, those things help, right? When you share it, when you comment, when you like it, all of those things help. So help us put this together. It's going to be really cool. Sign up for the emails, you guys. I'm going to be sending out emails. Sign up on all the socials. We're on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, and Facebook. And all of those areas, we're going to be posting updates from the book and kind of character studies and just some little fun stuff. And then, of course, like I said, until we get an illustrator, everything's going to be AI generated. So the story is not the story I am writing. So it's a real story, and I think it's really going to help. And I just think that sometimes, you know, like I said, at my age, I'm still learning how to navigate like relationships and just life in general. And a lot of those things I could have learned at a young age. And it's crazy to me that with all of the research I've done and all of the self-betterment I've done, everything stems down to those first years, which for me were just survive. So help us get this together. Help me create Compass and Claw and get this book together and get it in the hands of these kids. Thanks.